Okay, authors and actors. Magical rites and religious rites have different actors and officiants of a kind. They are really different. The magician performs rituals in far off shrines and wilderness, not in a temple. Magic is done in secret. Even if it's allowed, it's done in secret. And I think about this when I look at all the locations that people perform magic and the stuff that I read. It's always like a lonely, deserted temple, a tree on the bank of a river. It's always these lonely, isolated places. The notion of doing magic is withdrawn from the world, and I would argue from contemporary practitioners, that magic is often practiced in the home, not in public. I know when I attend Gnostic masses through through a Thelema organization that I attend, we do not do rituals in public. We could, we withdraw and do them in secret. There's an element of secrecy, of being removed from the mass of ritual, or being removed from religious rituals as a whole. The magician is himself or herself set apart. If he acts in public, he is going to dissimulate and cloak his magical actions. There's always a sense of mystery and secrecy. So the magician, if he's practicing in public, is going to do something to throw you off, so you don't see the actual mechanics of the ritual he's doing. He dissimulates. Now, religious acts are different. They're predictable. A mass is a mass is a mass. But magic is often innovative and even transgressive. So when you see magic rituals, they will often have an element, even if they're following a ritual script, of transgressing against ways that religion is usually practiced, or you'll find innovations. So that those transgressions aren't even like a transgression. It's just like, I'm going to take this religious object and use it in a different way to affect a magical end. So in many ways, what I'm saying is that magic is non-normative. We'll come back to this at the end of the lecture. Okay, so Hubert and Mauss come to this conclusion. We have thus arrived at a provisionally adequate definition of magical phenomena. Don't worry, we won't always be reading these stuffy old guys from the 19th and early 20th century. A magical rite is any rite which does not play a part in organized cults. It is private, secret, mysterious, and approaches the limit of a prohibited rite. This is key. Magic is not superstructure. It is substructure. Magic is the secret cabal, the group that do things in the shadows. Magic operates outside of the sanction of organized religions. Even when I spend time with, like, say, Wicca groups and neo-pagan groups and go and do rituals with them, their rituals are not meant to be publicly consumed. They are at a distance. So one way to distinguish magic from religion is that magic does not involve the organized offering of worship to a sanctioned deity. Now, so magic is almost like a different type of authority. It draws from different sources and different means to authorize it than religions. It doesn't have a Bible. It has multiple texts. It doesn't have initiated clerics who are like priests. Even if there are priests, the priests have a sort of diffused authority. If you are a priest in a magical order, you'll be considered an authority, but you won't be held in the same sort of esteem, say, a Catholic father would be held among Catholics. So a magician, and this is, I think, a key point, is one who does magic. And they make this point that there is no passive or honorary magician. So I think that's really true. A magician is one who does magic rituals. But this is tricky when you start thinking about contemporary neo-paganism. So when you meet a contemporary witch or a Wiccan, they will regularly say, oh, I'm a Wiccan. Do you do magic? Not so much. One of the big concerns in esoteric communities is there's always somebody that's doing a lot of magic rituals. And like, you're not doing magic rituals. What? Why? Why are you even here? And some people would argue you can be a magician without doing magic. But for people who do a lot of magic, you're not a magician unless you do magic. It sounds like a tautology, but I think there's a nuance there where being a magician and being into magic can be a sort of identity in the modern world, which is different from the past. Okay, magic is antisocial in the sense that it is the endeavor of an individual, whereas religion may seek to reaffirm the social structure. What is death and a funeral but a triumph of society and humanity in the church over the ultimate finalitude of death? It reaffirms society. It's out to, a mass is meant to serve all of the congregants, all of the celebrants there. Magic is different. because it aims at an individual. And the ends of that individual are often against the status quo. And the authority is different from the mainstream. You have your secret magic books. What's your end? To become superpowered, to make people hate each other, to do all of these things that glorify the individual and have the individual manifest their will in the world. But that in many ways is anti-society. It's against the group in mass. Now, will I argue that all individual actions are against society? No, but magic kind of is, because you're really saying, I'm going to take this different route than is usually expected for someone to be successful. That route is magic, not, I don't know. If you get magical success through riches, that's magic success through riches would be like prosperity to get gold to come to you by a yogini who comes and delivers you a gold coin every night. That's different than going and getting a better job or going to school or whatnot, so you'll make more money. Okay. So the magician's power, in fact, sets him aside from society. His power is not social. It's not his social position. He's outside of society. He's a super individual drawing from his or her own work and power rather than the accepted power of society that's represented in organized religions. Yet, while outside society, he operates upon society. That's the thing. He steps out of society to make society different through his magic to make it better for himself or make it better on behalf of his clients. So instead of going to church and asking a priest to pray for your sweetheart to fall in love with you and you get married, instead you go to the sorcerer who is outside of society and says, yeah, screw all that. You don't need to take her on dates and woo her and whatnot. We'll just do this thing where she'll become so intoxicated with desire that she won't be able to function. She'll have no choice but to marry you and love you. See how that's antisocial? See how that's against the way we usually go around things? But also notice that there is an effect on the real politic of this world. You're trying to get that girl.